got sent to prison in 1974 for offences I did not commit.
Okay.
Two involved Highgate Cemetery.
Yeah.
Desecration. I never committed those offences, and I took my case to the European Commission of Human Rights. The stopping of the Home Office preventing me from trying to find witnesses to prove my innocence. And I won that case.
Okay.
And I got 2 years, 6 months for that. And I got 2 years, I know it sounds bad, for sending voodoo effigies to the police.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, but now the point is, that is still going around on the internet today. This man, Farrant, ex-felon, threatened witnesses. The way it's put over is so unbelievable and untrue. What happened was, 73, a person came to see me who was a member of this society in connection with a completely different offence. He'd been beaten up quite badly. He'd refused to sign a statement rather, and then the assault took place. One of the police officers banged his head against the wall of the police station. Quite hard, made him bleed, yeah? He came to me almost in tears. I got the names of the police officers from the charge sheet, and again this would have been 73. I sent a voodoo effigy to each one of these police officers that had assaulted him, and it was accompanied by a letter.
gentle warning.
No, it was accompanied by a letter. Those who harm the initiated will become a victim of their own intentions. Note the word own there. Your evil will be returned to you before another month is through. And they were sent recorded to deliver it. And I signed them to make sure the 2 police officers received them. That 73. And a year later, when I was arrested for the Highgate Cemetery business, the police decided to add that as an extra charge. So I got 2 years for Highgate. I got 2 years for sending voodoo effigies to the police. Now that's the reason I sent them. It was rather, I guess, an immature thing to do, and I wouldn't do it now. But it was my way of sort of rebelling against the police and the way they were sort of treating me and Wicca. It was my way of saying to them, look, we're not doing anything wrong, but you are. Here you are.
I think David also felt that basically they were out to get him and they were going to use anything they could, so in a way, why not fuel it? Was there something of that going on in a way? I mean, you felt like you were kind of on a bit of a losing battle because they just kept saying this, this and this, and they weren't listening to you at all.
They weren't listening to me.
They weren't listening.
And basically, what happened in Highgate Cemetery, do you want to tell you about that? Skeleton in the car?
I'm not really kind of gossip.
Well, the main charge against me in 74 was an architect, doctor, I can't remember, he parked his car outside Highgate Cemetery. Now these kids were vandals. Gone into the cemetery one night, they'd found an open coffin. I don't think they opened it, but they took the corpse out, which is over 150 years old, and they propped it up in the steering wheel behind this guy's car, although it was driving the car. But they took its skull, minus its head. Now the police came to see me about this. They thought, now we've got him. They went to my flat and they raided it. But the thing is, they did find pictures of other pictures, and nothing to do with this car charge. But they found pictures of some half-naked ladies.
They found enough skeletons in the car.
To do with it. Now this was in the days, you've got to remember this, it's true. It's when, nowadays, if you're arrested, tape recorders, and if you want a solicitor, I think tape recorders are now compulsory, they have 2 on. And they've got to give you a solicitor if you want one. This was in the days where you didn't have such things as that. You'd be lucky if you even got a solicitor, but they had what was known in those 74 verbal evidence. That is, the police could make statements that they claimed you said to them and present them as evidence before a court or a judge. I happened to get Judge Argyle, who incidentally was the same judge who presided at the Oz trial when they burnt an effigy of him outside the Old Bailey in 1972. I got the same judge after sending these widow effigies to the police. But the police approached me, or a particular police officer did, and two of his colleagues. They claimed, they said to me, why was the body taken? They claimed I said to them, look, the corpse was taken for purposes of black magic. You wouldn't understand. Putting it in the car was not intended, but somebody came along. I never made that statement, and I denied in court to the jury that I'd never made that statement, and I told the judge that the police officer was lying, full stop. The jury didn't believe him, and I was acquitted. But that charge still sticks in people's minds. There's still people who seem to understand that I was acquitted of that particular offence. Oh, incidentally, a group of students actually came forward at the trial in '74 and said they had taken this skeleton for a laugh. They'd gone on one evening to mess around in the cemetery, taken it and then left it in the car as a joke.
Yeah,
we had some bloke come to the bookshop and say that you left the skeleton in somebody's car.
Yeah, well, it's not true.
I don't know. No, I don't do it. But just to say it, the myth is still
yeah.
The myth that, what you mean is that still people think I'm guilty.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Oh, thanks for that clarification.
Unless there's another myth that you might want to kind of defend yourself in with this very sensitive, compassionate audience. Did you kill cats?
No. I'm coughing. It's not because it's guilt. It's because I really.
Yeah.
No, I never did ever. I've never sacrificed any animal. Oh, Jane, it's in '73 we used to hold meetings because I didn't leave Wickham until 1982. We used to hold ceremonies in Highgate Woods at night. But this was in the days, remember, or maybe you don't, but there were no keepers' houses in there. It was all deserted. And we found a little place by the old tea pavilion, and we used to conduct ceremonies in there. Only in the summer. And the main reason is that Wiccan ceremonies are supposed to take place at night because it's governed by, as well as a solar principle, it's also governed by a lunar principle. Hence the mother goddess, Selene, no by other names. The lunar principle, lunar power, and obviously the moon, and it comes out at night. Well, the word got around locally and the press were writing this, that and the other about it. But the bottom line is that Long John Baldry, the blues singer, he approached the local press and said that his cat, his pet cat, Stoopsy, I even remember its name. This is a true story, by the way. Had gone missing. That was the end of it. Except he said he thought that Farrant's witches had sacrificed it and all that, and it got on the front page, you know. Other people were stirring it up and making it even worse. Other people were, if you know what I mean, pushing that story.
Yeah.
But in 1980 and 1980, yes, and 1981, I took a libel action against the News of the World and the Daily Express for the way they treated my original trial in 1974. Now, the Daily Express called Long John Baldry as a prosecution witness. I hadn't seen him since I was released from prison in 1976. The first time I saw him was at court. And it came out in his evidence, because I'd heard a rumour about this after I came out of prison, that his cat had returned. It had gone away. No, seriously, it did. As they do for night animal tiles, looking for a female cat, obviously thinking of little kitty cats and all that sort of thing. So this is true. And I said to him, because I was representing myself, I said, John, Mr. Baldry, if that's true, why did you not notify the press? Why didn't you say at the time, look, my cat's come back, it's unharmed? He said, I didn't think that was important. I was so pleased to get the cat back. So, in answer to your question, that's just another way in how these stories get around. No, I didn't sacrifice it.
And you've answered this along the way. You got any regrets?
Yes, not anymore.
Any things that you go back and you think, okay, I would change that because of where it took me,
Yeah,
or actually
there's obviously things. There's obviously things I would change. I mean, in retrospect, I guess everybody here would, looking back on their lives, particular things, saying, I wish I hadn't done that. I wish I had taken that decision. I wish I hadn't done.
But do you at least feel that you stuck to your beliefs? I mean,
Ah,
so
yes.
in that respect, then in a way you shouldn't have any regrets.
I don't have any regrets.
Yeah.
I mean, I said to you just now, I wouldn't send those results to the police officers again now. But that is how I felt at the time. So I'd be an absolute hypocrite if I said to you, I regret it. I didn't, or I wouldn't have sent them.
Yeah.
If that really answers your question. No, I haven't.
Yeah.
I don't have any regrets about anything I do. I always believe life is part of the learning process. Steps into magic, steps into Wicca, steps into understanding. And as I said at the beginning to you, Wicca is basically involved in understanding human consciousness. We all have that consciousness. It's the very thing that's a life force. It links us all together. What is it? Well, look, you're looking at me, aren't you? But your eyes can't see me.
No, it can't.
They can't. Your ear can't hear me. Your heart can't beat unless it's something giving it life. If that makes sense. That's what trying to understand consciousness really means. Trying to reach that which is real. The realization that the eyes are just jelly and the ears very simple. To me, that's an extremely important thing.
Yeah.
And that's only the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
But that's what I was deeply involved in. And back to you.
It's not back to me at all, actually. I'm wondering what's going through your your mind. Rather than mind. Any questions? That's what I'm trying to say.
I'm not taking any from him. He's a troublemaker.
Can I ask about Bram Stoker and vampires? You seem to suggest that he invented the idea of a vampire, but is it not a very ancient idea which he just picked up from somewhere?
No, I'm sorry, what I meant was he based it on the existence of the incubus and the succubus, which you can find in the dictionary. Actually, in some dictionaries, they're actually defined as visiting people, sleeping people, and actually having sex with them. These two beings have been in existence since the dawn of recorded history. What I'm saying is that I'm sure that, it's only my opinion, but I'm sure Bram Stoker was aware of the existence of these visitations from these two entities, which still go on in the present time. Because all the symptoms that I mentioned to you, people losing their appetites, sleepwalking, being hypnotized, being pinned to the bed, the sexual element, people becoming anemic, the very same symptoms that apply to vampirism. So,
was he the first person to actually put a vampire into a story?
No, there was I believe there was one. I'm not a literary expert. Jane's the person for that, but I believe there was a book called Varney the Vampire before that, so he could have taken some elements off that. So does that answer you okay? Okay. I better let him.
Well, one thing, you didn't go mention anything about your marriage and how you had this Catholic white wedding and then followed by a miraculous child born just 1 month later. And sort of a few other curiosities about that marriage.
Well, it's quite simple, Gareth.